For those of you who've maybe been sleeping under a rock recently, I need you to know that the markets are ripping higher. I'm talking stocks, I'm talking crypto, I'm talking options, I'm talking futures. Everything is exploding to the upside. So if you've been in the world of stocks, congrats. Crypto, congrats. Really, if you've just been a degenerate bull, congrats to all of you, because I'm sure that you've been making a pretty penny. On the other hand, if you've been betting against it, I kind of feel bad for you because you're getting absolutely steamrolled. And it's on that note that I want to give you this update video. What in the world should we all be paying attention to? What should be on our radar in the short term to understand better if the market is going to continue its green explosion to the upside, or maybe in the short term, is there a U-turn coming about? So I want to break down all the things to be paying attention to, some key levels, and hey, I'll even share some of my own trades from today with all of you. But before we get to that, if you haven't already, don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe. It really helps me out with the algorithm, so I appreciate you doing that. With that being said, let's rock. By the time the closing bell went dingity ding ding ding, today, here was the official headline. Dow adds more than 150 points to clinch fourth winning day, fueled by cooling inflation data. So yes, early this morning, we got the producer price index update, and we also heard about retail sales. I'll be covering that in a second, but really, I think the best way to kind of drive home this message before, when I was alluding to how green things were, here's a quick heat map of the S&P 500. Not the most green day we've seen, but overall, still pretty green, and then arguably even more green in the world of crypto. I mean, I'm actually not seeing any red here at all. And one question I have for you is just in terms of a spot check. Yes, the Qs were green, up 0.08%, but what's even more impressively green is crypto. Bitcoin currently trading at 37.6K, ETH trading above 2K, and you know what's really ripping? Solana, currently trading above 66. I need someone to explain it to me because I'm not quite following the story. Solana surges amid altcoin rally, nearly triples its price over the past month. The spike comes a day after ARK Invest CEO Cathie Wood applauded its performance this year on CNBC. Solana is doing a really good job, quote unquote. Ether was faster and cheaper than Bitcoin back in the day. That's how we got Ether. Solana is even faster and more cost effective than ever. So my question to all of you is, I have Bitcoin, I have Ethereum. Should I be dumping my Ethereum for Solana? I don't want to be someone who's cosplaying as a Solana expert. I roughly know what it is. I read his papers. I'm reading a little bit about the community. I'm catching up to date, up to speed on what I should be knowing about Solana. But I'm asking you this is, what am I missing? Like, someone needs to tell me something because this thing is ripping. And I need to know, am I missing the train or is this more of a rug situation? I'm genuinely asking you, should I be switching my money in Ethereum to money in Solana? Please let me know in a comment below. Anyway, I digress. Here are the major things that went down today and what you should be looking forward to in the immediate future. So at 8:30 a.m. ET today, an hour before the market opened, we got another inflation report. Yesterday, we got the consumer price index. Today, we got the producer price index. And that actually came in a very similar dovish, AKA bullish manner, coming in less than expectations, which is good because it means inflation isn't continuing to rip at the same velocity we previously saw. If you saw the market yesterday, it was even more green. And you might be thinking, well, if the CPI report came in light, the PPI report came in light, why aren't we still ripping to the upside? I would argue that the answer to that is twofold. This morning, same time, 8:30 a.m., we get a different report, the retail sales report. And as you can see right here, came in a little bit hotter than expected, and this ties to inflation, and there's obviously still demand, and we know the Federal Reserve, aka Daddy Powell, is currently fighting against it. So I think it's kind of safe to say that maybe these two announcements sort of canceled each other out. It's also safe to say that the market's been ripping like no other, so maybe the short-term bulls are finally taking some profits. Just something to consider. Another thing to consider, China President Xi meets Biden for the first time in a year. By the time you're watching this, there's a good chance you might have already seen or heard about whatever they're discussing, their press conference. So just in the short term, in the political arena, I'm not necessarily saying it's bullish or bearish. I'm just saying it could prompt some volatility. So I want to put it on your radar. Similar situation of the government shutdown. And it already passed the House. It's currently being heard by the Senate. They're fighting back and forth. the preliminary, I guess, signs from the situation is, yeah, it seems like we're going to not have a government shutdown, but just another thing on the political front that I think everyone should be paying attention to, because obviously it could have an impact on the economy, and the economy will have an impact on the stock market. In a similar vein, another thing you should be paying attention to is the fact that we are not done with earnings season. Before the market opens tomorrow, Thursday, November 16th, we're going to hear from Alibaba, obviously the Chinese tech giant. We're going to hear from Walmart. We're going to hear from Macy's. Obviously, these are going to be impactful companies. Also on that note, I want to let you know that this is pretty much the end of earnings season. Next week, right before Thanksgiving, we're going to be hearing from Nvidia. So that will probably be an interest to many of us. But other than that, we're kind of done with this particular earnings season. Side note on earnings, we did hear from Target this morning. Target shares jump after retailer posts a big earnings beat, even as sales fall again. And side story, Target CEO claims customers are saying a quote-unquote big thank you for locking up merchandise. Pretty much all year, Target has found itself on one side or another related to some sort of fight, whether it was the whole stuff with the LGBT clothing or it was the theft and people said we should steal, or people said you shouldn't steal because it's stealing. Well, now the CEO at least hitting back on one of those things, saying, yeah, no, obviously we're going to lock stuff up, because they were recently forced to close 9 stores in September because of the increase in theft and related violence. So on this one sub aspect, I mean, makes sense that the CEO is saying, yeah, we're going to lock stuff up. You shouldn't be stealing from us. Anyway, for a more holistic picture of what's going down previously and what to look forward to in the upcoming week, check out the newsletter, macros.locals.com. I break down what happened in the past week, what I'm personally looking forward to in the upcoming week. I include all the major macroeconomic events. I include all the major earnings. And then I also give you the seasonality for all the individual days in the upcoming week. And just for those of you watching right now, today was slightly bullish. The SPY and the Qs were slightly in the green, but more so I wanted to show you that, yeah, the seasonality technically did play out. But for Thursday, a bit more neutral, slightly bearish, and then clearly on Friday, November 17th, more so favoring the bears. Now, when you look at seasonality, is that a guarantee? No, I'm giving you the odds right there so you get a better sense of the deck is stacked in which party's favor. That's the best way that I like to think about it. And now let's get into the nitty gritty of it. On the screen is the SPY, the ETF tracking the S&P 500. Yeah, no secret that from late October until now, it's been ripping another green day, albeit a small green day. I just want to point out, in terms of the upside, I'm going to be watching how the market reacts to 451 if there's another retest in the short term. Past that, I'll be looking at 454. And I also want to let you know that there's a downside gap fill to 441. And it's on that note, that similar situation to the Qs, I just want to show you where it closed, that I myself, even though I love to cover what's going on day in and day out, I also want to let you know that I'm personally a very active trader. In fact, this is how things have been going recently. Yes, you might notice that on Friday, the 10th, I had a brutal loss. And basically, if you're a poker player, you're going to know what I mean here. I went absolutely on tilt. I broke my systems, I broke my rules, and it cost me dearly. So right now, I'm in the build back phase. Most people are not going to show off their horrific losses to you, but I think the only way to really develop some trust is to always be 100% transparent, 100% honest. I'm right there with you. I have my mentally strong days, and clearly I also have my mentally weak days, but as of today, I've built back about half of what I lost, and I plan to take it slow and steady. And like I said, my whole point in doing this is just to let you know that this isn't some like guru furu thing of like, oh my God, I'm always right all the time, always making this money. That's not real trading. That's not real life. That is not a real way people really behave in the market. So I just wanted to be honest and forthcoming about where I am, and also just show you the trades from the day. A lot of credit spreads. I know a lot of people enjoy options. So these were a bunch of DGen 0 DT credit spreads, not really buying calls or buying puts, but more so selling premium. And that's the thing that I love to do in my own Discord. So if you have an interest in learning a little slightly more complicated options strategy in theory, check it out. macros.locals.com. That's exactly where you get that newsletter for free. And it's also where you can sign up and get connected into the Discord for any of you who have an interest. That's what I have for you now. Best of luck in the markets for the remainder of the week. I'll catch you in the next video.